Yes, guys, welcome back to my channel. After ending last week's video early, I got a lot to speak about this one because this kind of style is what I educated myself most about. This is James Toney versus Mike Body Snatcher McCallum 2. So if you watch the first fight, then you understand that it ended in a draw. Man, I can't believe that was such an underrated banger. Like, if you haven't seen Toney versus McCallum 1, go watch it. Enough said, let's go right into the video. Stats and Facts Boxing Classic. I'm going to analyze the greatness of both James Toney and Mike McCallum, point out their technical masterclass in slow motion. And yeah, man, just give you guys... Listen, bro. The things that I point out in slow motion, you can train that, bro. Like, this is stuff that works for the all-time great James Toney against Body Snatcher McCallum. Like, if this works for those guys, it's going to work for you. So the things that you see in slow motion, especially if I point it out again, and this goes for any of my videos, you can go train that. Drill it, bro. Go in the gym. Even if you don't have a good coach right now, go drill it. Go in front of a mirror. Do it shadow boxing until you feel it. And then you go hit the bag, and then you keep doing it shadow boxing, and just go follow Tommy and Kello's world-class boxing channel on YouTube if you want to learn boxing. But now, actually, let's just get right into the video. So round one starts, and you see Toney instantly utilizing on the best punch in boxing. And James Toney starts to utilize on the jab and shoot the jab to Mike McCallum's body. Okay, so that's doing two things. First, it's clean punching. He's winning rounds by points. That's why Toney's using it. Secondly, he can set up other punches. Now look at this great combination by Toney. He's shooting a jab to the head, and then he follows it up with a jab to the body, all while stepping and moving laterally. Do you see that? So he is incorporating pivots when he's jabbing. That's my favorite thing about James Toney. The jab to the head and the jab to the body while pivoting out. Great stuff by Toney. Ever since the fight starts, James Toney already shows great boxing, utilizing on the best punch in boxing. And there it is. I'm gonna play it back. That's why it's so effective. Because James Toney is using his jab, he can now use feints. He's landing his jab. So Mike McCallum is going to react. Look at that. Mike McCallum reacts to that because he is afraid of getting hit by Toney's jab. Now, what does that do for Toney? Toney can now use jabs and feints to see how Mike McCallum responds. Okay, James Toney is using his jab and the feint of his jab to figure his opponent out. That's good defense by Toney there. So I need to just clear that up real early. And he done that. Oh, just beautiful stuff there by Toney. I love that, throwing the jab while stepping and pivoting. It's so good. It's just so hard to counter your opponent if he does that. So just some great stuff by Toney there. Off to the next good detail. So Toney understands that Mike McCallum likes to parry. Look at Mike McCallum's rear hand. This is crucial information. Look at Mike McCallum's rear hand. James Toney understands that Mike McCallum likes to parry his jab to the body with his rear hand. So James Toney feints the jab to the body and shoots a right hand to the head. Great way of using the feint to the body. Great. That's why the jab to the body is so effective. So James Toney has good offense there. He feints the jab to the body and then shoots a hard right hand to the head because he understands Mike McCallum's right glove is out of position there. Here is an overlooked detail. Look at how Mike McCallum turns James Toney here. He places his head outside of James Toney's lead shoulder, and then he turns James Toney, pivoting out to his right side, right to his rear side. So he's firstly taking his head into a safe position, then he turns James Toney and just gets out the corner that way. So turning your opponent, that's something you can really learn of. Oh, look at that vicious combination by Toney. And good defense by McCallum. Let me play that back. Bending at the waist. I keep saying it, bro. So James Toney is throwing a lead hand to the body and then a right overhand to the head, which is a great combination. Comel Moulton just hit a nasty knockout, first round knockout with the lead hand, right overhand combination. And yeah, this James Toney just does the same thing. He doesn't throw it as an uppercut to the head. James Toney likes to throw the lead hand to the liver and then follows it up. Oh, just good stuff, bro. Man, these guys are going at it. There is another good detail. Just look at this. James Toney throws a jab to the head and then a jab to the body. Mike McCallum likes to... Oh my God, and that defense by McCallum there. So James Toney throws a jab to the body simultaneously to counter Mike McCallum's counter jab. And then Mike McCallum bends at the waist to avoid James Toney's lead hook. Man, that's so much. That's just so much stuff going on there. I'm just gonna keep speed, bro. These guys are really going at it. This is some great skill. And the first fight's been just like that. Good counter uppercut by Toney there. Good try. Damn, he does it again. That combination, he really likes to throw that. Look at that. So James Toney is shooting 3 lead hands there, 3 lead lead shots, and he's shooting a jab to the head and body, and then it looks like a hook, but I think it's more of a jab this time. So it's 3 jabs, and then he pivots. He's stepping up and over with his lead foot every time he's shooting that jab, so he can pivot out to his lead side. That's just some great elite boxing by Toney. Toney lands a real nice jab there by shooting it simultaneously with Mike McCallum's jab. So the second he sees Mike McCallum release his jab, he's shooting his jab with his rear hand in the right place in front of his jaw. So he's getting ready to catch Mike McCallum's jab while simultaneously throwing his own jab. Good turn here. Currently you can see Mike McCallum trying to turn James Toney. Good body shot counter there. Let me play that back. Look at how Mike McCallum slips to the outside while parrying Toney's jab, and then he counters it with a rear hook to the body. That's a nice counter. So slipping to the outside and then coming over the top, or even shooting the rear hand to the body. Good counter after slipping to the outside. Duran likes to slip to the inside. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Slipping to the outside and shooting the uppercut. Look at what Toney done there. So here's some vicious stuff by Toney. He slips to the outside of Mike McCallum's jab and tries to come below it with an uppercut. Then he chains it with a lead hook to the body and then a rear overhand. Look at that. Look at that nasty combination. It's slow-mo, but just look at how that looks in full speed, man. This guy is vicious. Now off to round 2. Look at James Toney using nice head movement here to get to the inside. Now he just lands a good overhand. So let me just play that back, bro. So James Toney's using an old school art of bending at the waist to get to the inside, and then he just lands a crisp overhand and a good lead hook. Let me play that back. Good inside fighting, what you're about to see. It's like James Toney has a completely different style. He slips to the outside, and then he kind of just slips to the inside, weaves below Mike McCallum's jab, and now he just shoots the overhand over Mike McCallum's jab, and there he sets up a big lead hook to the head as well. So the drill would be slip to the outside, shoot an overhand over the jab, bend at the waist to set up a big hook, and then shoot the big hook. And then they ended up in the clinch afterwards. But yeah, man, just switching up your style like that, that definitely works against anybody. It's called setting a trap. James Toney just going for a walk there, resetting the pace. Good jabs, bro. This is boxing. This is boxing. This is real boxing. And just look at, they're really trying to hurt each other, bro. That's crazy. I just need to play those jabs back because there is a lot going on and I really want to explain what really happens there. So just look at how James Toney lands a jab to the head and then a jab to the body, instantly pivoting out afterwards, so he's not a stationary target. As soon as he's planted, he just goes right back to it. Double jab to the head. Look at how James Toney effectively utilizes and exploits the best punch in boxing. And this does so much for Toney. So Toney can figure Mike McCallum out. He can set up other shots. He can now utilize feints more effectively. Good upper body movement there by James Toney, bending at the waist to avoid pretty much everything. Having the rear glove in place just in case the hook comes. Just some real good stuff by Toney here. Just some real good. He tries to come over the top of Mike McCallum's jab with an overhand again. This is what I'm gonna drill. Like, bro, first things first, thank you so much for 100 subs, dude. Bro, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate all of you. And I'm going to remember you. Facts, bro. Like the day ones, I'm not going to forget you lot, man. Fucking thank you so much, man. But while I was talking and showing my appreciation, there was some good stuff happening. So let me play that back. Toney tries to tie McCallum's jab here. So he bends at the waist, he straightens himself back up, and he bends at the waist again and shoots a big overhand. So he anticipated McCallum to throw a jab, but he didn't throw it. James Toney still threw the overhand anyways. And yeah, that's something you can really learn of James Toney, man. That upper body waist movement, I like to call it. There it is. I'm just speaking about it. Look at how he effortlessly bends at the waist to avoid the hook here. Just look at that, man. That's good defense, though. That's brilliant defense. Look at how Mike McCallum lands a good jab here. So he doubles up on the jab, and now James Toney instantly keeps moving his head, just in case he tries to avoid further punches there. So he decides to bend at the waist the second he gets hit and then weave to his left side with his rear glove up. So oh my days, man, that's just such a... Alright, so this is going to take a bit to explain, but something happened there that I want to go over. Pay attention to Mike McCallum here. Pay attention to how he only touches the jab. Mike McCallum understands that James Toney likes to counter his jab with his own jab. So Mike McCallum triggers James Toney's jab by using a touch jab, and then he's deciding to trade James Toney's jab with a big hook. And James Toney instantly counters that with an overhand. But But Mike McCallum just landed a good hook there, and he also just moved out of the way of the big overhand. So Mike McCallum, good stuff there by Mike McCallum, real good stuff. That's the punch that Ryan Garcia knocked Devin Haney down with multiple times. He traded a jab with a big hook. Round 3 starts, and James Toney instantly starts utilizing with the jab again, feinting and then shooting a jab to the body, avoiding McCallum's jab simultaneously. There he times his jab and shoots an overhand over his jab. Let me replay that, as that was just a beautiful thing to do. So here you see he slips to the outside and shoots a big right hand over the jab of McCallum. It worked well, so a few seconds later, the same round, he's trying it again. He's bending at the waist to slip outside of the jab, and then he tries to shoot a big right hand over it. But this time, McCallum is well aware to not get hit. Now, here's a real nice counter. See that? James Toney shoots his jab simultaneously with Mike McCallum's jab, and it just clips him with it. The best counter to the jab is a jab. Now, here's some real good stuff by McCallum. He's using a feint to expose a mechanical flaw of Toney. Toney's reaching for his jab. So he feints it, makes him reach, and then he comes back with a strong jab. He could also come back with a hook there. But what he does is he jabs after the feint and then he pivots out, which is real crafty stuff. Real good stuff by McCallum. And look at this beautiful inside step up jab, bro. Look at that. Slips to the inside, shoots a straight up jab down the pipe. It's like an uppercut, but you shoot it from a long trajectory. Good jab again by Toney. Yeah, that's what Roberto Duran used to do all the time. He used to throw a jab to trigger the opponent's jab. He slips to the inside and just shoots that long range up jab down the middle. It's such a good shot, man. It's a real good shot. On this clip, look how James Toney bends at the waist after jabbing, having good defensive responsibility. Here he punches off of it. So he's bent. That's good head movement by Toney. Let me replay it. So Toney is bending at the waist after catching McCallum's jab, and he tries to counter with an uppercut and a hook. Good counter, real good combination. And you see that waist movement, that bending at the waist movement after punching? See how effective that is? James Toney isn't even getting hit. Now, after round 4, I just want to point out a technical flaw by Toney. So see how he reaches for McCallum's jab there. You see how he reaches for that jab? So McCallum feinted, right? He feinted the jab, and then you see Toney reaching for it. So why am I saying, ooh, good counter there by Toney? Why am I saying it's a flaw? You can come around it, right? And McCallum exploited this before. I've been going over this before, this fight. So you don't want to reach for the opponent's jab with your backhand. You don't want to reach. That is not my opinion. That's what Tommy and Kello says. Now, good double jab. Let me go over that. Such a good combination. Oh my God, bro. They've got fire, bro. You see that? All right, let me go over that double jab again. So this is how Toney likes to take McCallum's jab away. So he throws a jab. McCallum counters it with his own jab. And Toney just throws a jab to the body. You see how he evades McCallum's jab by throwing a jab to the body there? Just some real good stuff. So this channel was all about technique, so just appreciate those jabs, man. Oh my, bro, that's so pretty. He just makes that look so good, man, honestly. McCallum would throw the jab, moving laterally, so he's stepping with the lead foot. Every time he's throwing a jab, he's stepping up and over, and then he pivots with the rear foot. And when he jabs and he uses lateral movement and pivots like that, he's making it so hard for Toney to counter. I mean, Toney is exploiting this in the first fight and also later in this second fight. You need to be real careful against an opponent that likes to come over the top with the right hand, going to the left with a jab. But in general, moving laterally with your jab and pivoting with your jab, that's a real nice thing to do, man. And just McCallum just shows you how to do it. Just that's something you can really learn of McCallum. Oh, there it is. There it is, bro. Let me go over it. I was just talking about it. See how Toney just comes over the top of the jab there? And then oh man, this is such an elite exchange, bro. I need to play it again. Pay attention. This is about as technical as it gets. Toney throws a jab because he expects McCallum to throw a jab back. Slips to the outside and then he shoots a big right hand over McCallum's jab. McCallum instantly tries to get back at Toney with a right hand. Toney rolls it and comes back with his own right hand counter. You see how beautiful that is, man. So yeah, Toney just showed you a good way to counter the jab. Slip to the outside, shoot a big right hand over the top. But you need to be careful doing that because, bro, if you like to throw the big overhand over your opponent's jab, and your opponent doesn't just throw a jab, he actually throws a 1-2, right? The 1-2 beats it. The 1-2's faster than that. So you need to time. It's a timing shot. Okay, coming over the top with your backhand, it's a great counter. I love it. It's just very weak to the 1-2. So yeah, just don't do that if you anticipate your opponent to throw a 1-2. Off to the next good detail. The next time someone tries to counter your jab with a big hook, just bend at the waist. Just do what Toney does here, man. Just dive under the stupid shit, man. Bend at the waist, dive right under it. Here you see Toney getting close to the corner, but Toney just tucks his chin into his lead shoulder and pivots out, lifting his lead shoulder. Ooh, nice slip there on the jab. But let me play that pivot back because it's a great way to get out the corner. My God, man, this is some good stuff by Toney, man. This is some high-level stuff. Holy shit, you see how he bends at the waist to avoid the jab. Good stuff. And then he bends at the waist to avoid the hook as well. It's just so effective, man. Good pivot again. Bro, holy smokes, man. My fucking days. This is some good stuff, man. I need to really I kind of just want to watch this. I don't really want to. I don't want to stop watching. I don't want to stop. Man, fuck that. Let me just go over the best details. Man, there is some good details as well. And this is how simple it is to avoid the opponent's counter. Jab, bend at the waist to avoid the counter jab. Now, when he's getting off the clinch, he's jabbing again. And guess what he's doing? He's bending at the waist to avoid the counter hook. So it don't really matter what the opponent throws. Defense can be so simple. And James Toney shows it to you. Off to round 5. McCallum shows you a real sneaky trick here. So that's a real good trick. Look at how he's against the ropes. And now he's grabbing Toney and he turns him. Now he got Toney against the ropes. For this to work, you need to know how to pivot. Then you need to put your hands on your opponent's hips and just turn him. It's very simple. You just need to know how to do it. And McCallum shows it to you here. So your boxing foundation is very important for you to be able to do that. You need to have your weight on your rear leg so you're able to pivot both sides. And yeah, man, that's just a very nice trick there. If you're against the ropes, you can just turn your opponent by pivoting and putting your hands on his hips, on his waist. Now off to the next good detail. Look at the nice defensive responsibility of Mike McCallum dipping over his lead leg after throwing that right hand. Toney tries to counter Mike McCallum's right hand with his own right hand, which is a great counter. And Mike McCallum evades Toney's counter by dipping over his lead leg. Some good defensive responsibility. Bro, I can't believe I didn't say this so far. So if you want to learn all of this, everything you see here, everything that I break down, okay? Turning off the ropes, pivoting, counter-punching, defense. You learn this kind of stuff from Tommy and Kello. You can learn this for free. You can learn this by yourself. You never boxed before, fine. World-class boxing channel on YouTube, okay? World-class boxing gym on Google, yeah? Bro, go check Tommy and Kello out, bro, yeah? Go check him out. I can't recommend this to you enough. If you want to learn boxing, if you want to really learn the body foundations and the fundamental way of boxing, world-class boxing channel on YouTube, bro. And now off to the next good detail. So here is a nice sequence where Toney parries the first jab and then just bends at the waist to avoid pretty much anything that Mike McCallum throws at the head. That's defense, baby. And see that try. That's a good try there, bro. So he's throwing a jab to come over the top with a right hand again. So he's done that before, he's landed it before, so he tried it again there. Smart guy, this is smart guy. James Toney, real smart fighter. Doesn't get enough credit for his ring IQ. Real good fighter. You remember when I said James Toney uses his jab to trigger a response out of McCallum? Well, Mike McCallum does that too. He throws the jab here to trigger James Toney's jab and counter it with a body shot, which is a good try. That can really do some damage, take air out of your opponent, just air them out for the last few rounds. Look at the caliber of these two fighters. Look at them both releasing a short check hook. And bro, James Toney just instantly bending at the waist after throwing. It's just, people say James Toney done more sparring than anyone else. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know. It's just, I know that James Toney done hella sparring just because of things like this, moments like this. There is no way you have defensive responsibility like that without doing a shit ton of sparring. I promise you that. Or at least without really boxing every single day. Because James Toney's defensive responsibility is one of the best of his era, for sure. It's so hard to hit the guy. And that's where just Roy Jones Jr. gets some credit from me. Because, man, that guy was quick. But, okay, man, I really need to go over the next... Good detail right there. I'm going to go back to that. So Toney tries to slip the jab again and then come over the top with a big right hand. It's a great counter. Don't get me wrong. I'm nowhere near as experienced, as good as these guys, of course. I just know that the right hand beats it. So I'm just questioning Mike McCallum's corner and himself as well. Because, listen, bro, I'm no professor. I don't know boxing way better than the guys in McCallum's corner, but it's just, I don't know why he's not making adjustments to that slip, outside slip overhand counter. That James Toney really landed a few good overhands in the first fight. That he really did. And he's doing it again this fight. He keeps trying it. He keeps trying it. So I wouldn't have been surprised if he did it again there, if you paid attention to that slip to the outside. Maybe that's because he's so successful doing it. Sometimes he slips to the outside without throwing it, and then sometimes he slips to the outside and tries to cut. He tried it there. So yeah, I'm just talking too much, bro. Let me go over the next good detail that I see. Good defense there after the jab. Man, I fucking love that shit, bro. Let me go back to... I love that shit, man. Defense, baby. Bro, defense after jabbing is so underrated, man. It opens up so many counter opportunities. See, if James Toney really wanted, he could have threw the overhand. He could have thrown the overhand there. But he decided not to do it. That's because he's so unpredictable. I feel like I learned so much watching this, man. And I really, just in case you don't know how I do my film studies, I really watch this on 0.5 speed and then go over the good details that I see. Yeah, so yeah, let me just continue and go back to doing that now. I really like this combination by Toney. He smothers in after bending at the waist, and then he shoots a rear hook to the body, lead hook to the head. And McCallum counters it with a jab. That also just hits Toney. That's just simply because... there he is again. There it is again. Toney's so good at that, dude. Who's better than him? Duran, probably. But the outside slip counter, he's so good at... Oh, yeah, he really wants to land that now. That's the second time in like 5 seconds he tries to land that over McCallum's jab. Why is McCallum not letting his right hand go down the pipe? Isn't that so? Someone just... If you hear this, bro, in the comments, just let me know what you think. Man, I wish Tommy and Kello did film studies, man. I wish he did. That'd be so cool. That'd be so nice. I'll be buying that kind of stuff. I'll keep it real with you, bro. I'll spend my money on that all day. Let me just go back to the good details and round. Ooh, body snatcher. That's where he got that nickname from. Look at those body shots, man. Vicious. All right, off to round 7. Those 2 jabs that Toney likes to throw, he also throws that to the head. So usually he throws that second jab to the body to evade the counter jab. But he can also evade... There it was, the jab to the body. But he can also evade the counter jab by slipping over his rear leg and then just shoot it to the head, though. So you can just shoot those 2 jabs, the first one straight as an arrow and the second one to the head or body just by slipping over your rear leg. Therefore, you're taking the jab away. Oh, beautiful defense. Let me go back there. So Toney really bladed, is showing McCallum the shoulder, shoots an uppercut, and then he catches his body shot and counters it with a lead hook to the head. There he parries the first jab and slips the second jab by bending at the waist. So, oh man, that's great brilliance. I'm happy I've seen this. So he's shooting an uppercut. Watch how he takes his elbow into position to catch the body shot and he instantly shoots a hook back. And then he just evades 2 jabs, right? That is technical brilliance, bro. Damn, that's some good stuff. That bending at the waist after catching the jab, that is muscle memory, by the way. People always tell me in the comments and everywhere, like every time I speak with people about defense and good reflexes, it's not all about reflexes, bro. It's about muscle memory. James Toney does this so many times. He bends at the waist because he anticipates something is coming at him. He doesn't do it because he sees it all the time. Of course, also he does it it's a reflex as well. It's both. Right? But he doesn't always see everything. He is anticipating it. So if he feels something's coming at him, he's bending at the waist. Good counter there. He really likes to do that. Let me go back to that because he just done it before as well. So when McCallum tries to throw body shots, James Toney catches the second body shot and counters it with a lead hook again. Right? So McCallum's lead shot to the body, his lead liver shot, James Toney likes to catch that and then shoot a hook back, which is great. That's good defense. That's good counter punching. Hook, uppercut, jab. Some good stuff by Toney, man. It's good combination punching, bro. Bro, this is so underrated. So catch the jab, shoot a jab back, follow it up with a cross, dip over to your lead leg to avoid the counter. Cross! Yes, Sirski! That's exactly what I'm talking about. Defensive responsibility, bro. But look a quick counter, and then he back. Man, taking your head off the center line after throwing the cross, you can weave to your right side, or to your rear side, I should say, for you southpaw guys. You can weave out to your rear side. You can dip over your lead leg. That's some good defensive responsibility. You can really learn that off of Mike McCallum. He's really good at that. Not waiting for the receive. That's what Coach Anthony, right? Coach Anthony. That's what he says. He says punch and don't wait for the receipt. So you don't wait. You don't punch and just wait there like, "Aye, bro, I'm right here. You can retaliate. It's fine." Don't do that. Get out of there, bro. Move, bro. Defensive responsibility. Ooh, nice sharp stuff by Toney. Yeah, he's pissed. James Toney wants to get back, man. You can tell. After he got hit with that nice 1-2 counter by McCallum, he really wants to get that back. And that's such a good attitude, man. Get back for when you get hit. That's a really good attitude in boxing. Especially if you want to win the fight, right? Because you need to show something to the judges. It's always been like that. Yeah, man, let's just... Enough talking, off to the next round. Now, after round 8, yeah, you know what it is, yeah? You know what it is, bro. You see that reaching from Mike McCallum's jab, bro? James Toney really reaches a lot. So when I really took my time and started to learn the craft that Tommy and Kello teaches, right? Tommy and Kello really insists. Basically, every coach that I listen to that I like, they really tell you don't reach for the jab. Because if you reach for the jab, he can feint and start coming around it, right? So that's what James Toney does a lot, though. Like, James Toney reaches for Mike McCallum's jab. Like, Derek, he just done it again. So that's just something like, bro, just let me know in the comments what you think. I think, because of what I think, yeah, and this is not stats and facts, this is just what I think. James Toney, in his mindset and in his muscle memory, he's so ready to bend at the waist that he just, if he tries to come around it, he just bends at the waist and avoids the hook like that. McCallum gets punished there for shooting it. Oh, bro, let me show you why he gets punished there, quick. Yeah, Toney's in a clinch and he's shooting a backhand, like behind the back, similar to what Canelo done to Triple G. Off to the next good detail. There it is. I was just speaking about James Toney being ready. He done it again. You know what I mean, bro? I think that's why he reaches so much, because he's just in his mindset. He's so ready to bend at the waist. So I think he just kind of figured out a way to just nullify the push hook off the feint. Like, hook, bro, that's something that you can really practice, by the way. Hooking off your jab, that's a good shot, man. Like, you can feint and then shoot a lead hook and then follow it up with a right hand. So the 3-2 is a nice one. Good counter, man. Oh, shit, I like that one a lot as well. This is such a nice counter. He slips to the outside of McCallum's jab and comes over the top with a right overhand. He just fell short there. Now he bends at the waist over his lead leg to avoid any form of counter. Now this I really practice a lot in shadowboxing. Also this and the inside slip up jab. Those are probably my two most effective and just best counters to single mid-range jabs. Now if you anticipate it right, the inside slip up jab is probably going to beat the opponent's 1-2. But the outside slip overhand That's a counter to the jab, right? So you really want to make sure you anticipate it right, because if your opponent throws a 1-2, that's going to beat it. The 1-2 is faster than that. I think I said it already in this video. But it's important for you to understand that the right hand over the top is weak to the 1-2. That's why you want to have... It's so much is weak to the 1-2, though. Like, a lot of counterpunching is weak to the 1-2. A good one, you really want to have a solid 1-2, right? Very important. So Mike McCallum parries and then smothers in. That smothering in, why did he do that? He anticipated Toney to throw the jab cross there. That catch the jab and then smothering on the cross, very effective. You're in a very good position if you do that. Like, if you really want to practice, if you have a friend that also likes to box and you want to develop a nice 1-2, your opponent throws the 1-2 at you and you catch it and smother in under the cross, right? And you can also mix it up. You should always mix up your defense, right? That's not me. That's what I learned from Tommy and Kello. Now off to round 9 and off to the next good detail. But yeah, man, partner drills, bro. I'm telling you, bro, partner drills, bro. Drill realistic scenarios, bro. Realistic scenarios, okay? Don't do those 20-shot pad work drills. It's never going to happen. Just be sharp. Be sharp. Just practice what these guys are doing, bro. Like, this kind of shit that I put in slow motion. You can practice that, bro. You should practice that, bro. Practice that. It works for Toney and McCallum. Why would it not work for you? It's going to work, bro. All right, off to the next good detail. All right, bro. If you watch until this point, okay, nobody is going to watch until this point anyways. But, bro, if you hear this, okay, would you want me to come up with, like, a workout routine for boxers? Not mine. I'm talking about something like train like Sugar Ray Leonard. And then I just do, like, a 30-minute workout with drills that worked for Sugar Ray Leonard. For example, his way of countering the opponent's counter jab. Shoot your own jab, catch the opponent's counter jab, and then shoot a jab overhand back. That's one thing that Leonard liked to do, for example. So it wouldn't be my workout, right? It would be me watching the all-time greatest fighters and then break down what they've done to counter the jab, for example, or the 1-2, or the 1-2-3, or the body shots, the overhands, the uppercuts, and then I would just put it into shadowboxing or partner drills. And then you could just do what I do and practice what worked for the all-time great fighters. What, you want me to do that, bro? Is that a nice thing to do? It could be like a workout series, like fight like your favorite fighter, you know? Like fight like Sugar Ray Leonard or fight like Salvador Sanchez. What, you want to do that? Because that's how I train. That's what's fun to me, bro. So when James Toney bends at the waist and comes up, he has his rear hand in position to catch the opponent's hook and instantly shoots his own hook back. So bend at the waist, have your rear glove at the side of your face, roll with the hook a little bit and shoot your own counter hook back. Good stuff by Toney. One more thing before I go over the next round. Look at how James Toney instantly bends at the waist after weaving in case Mike McCallum times him coming up after the weave. Some real good defensive responsibility. After round 10, you remember when James Toney started every round off jabbing? Well, this round he starts throwing a gazelle hook. That's a clever trap. That's a clever trap. For 9 consecutive rounds, he's getting McCallum used to him throwing jabs down the pipe. And then all of a sudden, he's coming around the guard. Just McCallum has good hand placement there because he's seen Toney throw the hook. Otherwise, that's a good punching there by Toney and McCallum both just show great clean punching ability. And that up jab, bro, that up jab, I love that. I love that punch, man. So Toney slips to the inside and then throws a long uppercut, a jab it's just a good shot, man. That's a great... And he also does a head movement right after, bending at the waist, slipping over his rear leg. He just threw it again. Man, that's such a good shot, bro. I'm going to replay it. It's such a good shot, man. One of my... Maybe this is my favorite punch. This might be my favorite counter to the jab. Slip to the inside and shoot a long trajectory uppercut. It's like... So Jeff Mayweather says it's a spear jab. You want to aim for the opponent's nose and push it up the brain. I mean, that guy is violent. I'm not throwing it like that. It's more like a coffee mug jab for me. So imagine you have a cup of coffee in your hand and you want to splash it out, right? You just shoot it like an uppercut, like a long uppercut. And you slip to the inside. You know what, bro? Mike McCallum done a good job of parrying it, but the punch still hit him. That's because it's an awkward punch to defend against. It's genuinely a good punch, bro. Bro, if you made it this far, just be happy because this might be my favorite James Toney clip, okay? James Toney shows you how to use your jab to trigger a response and counter the counter. Toney shoots a jab, being defensively responsible. There he understands that Mike McCallum comes back with his own jab, right? James Toney wants him to throw the jab. So he uses his own jab to trigger Mike McCallum's jab, then slip to the outside, but this time he's shooting an overhand after slipping. Now, Mike McCallum is an elite fighter and he's not getting hit by it. But this particular punch, is what you call a setup. He set that one up. He done it that's a very clever setup, okay? Use your jab to trigger a response. Don't just use your jab to land it. Okay, use it to trigger a response because that's how you knock it's the punch that you don't see that's going to spark your opponent out. Yeah? It's the punch that you don't see. And if you are able to counter the counter using anticipation, now that is elite boxing skill. Focus on Mike McCallum here. You see how James Toney shoots a big gazelle hook? Mike McCallum catches it and instantly shoots his own hook back. Harris proved that it's defensive responsibility and not reaction. You see how he bends at the waist after throwing the hook? He does it without Mike McCallum throwing anything. Here, he just done it. And Mike McCallum actually threw a counter hook and he evaded it by being defensively responsible. So James Toney bending at the waist, that's not him reacting to his opponent. That's him being defensively responsible. He's doing it after punching. You need to understand that it doesn't matter if your opponent counter you or not. You need to be defensively responsible in case he does. You need to be defensively responsible. You can't stay there and say, okay, I'm going to wait and see if he counters. No, you're too slow. Action time beats reaction time. Be defensively responsible and always be defensively responsible. Just do it like James Toney. Here you see James Toney use boxing basics. Shoot the jab simultaneously with your opponent. Just take your head off the center line. You're going to hit him. He's not going to hit you. Off to round 11, James Toney starts the round by feinting to the head and then shooting a jab to the body. He uses the feint to trigger Mike McCallum's jab, and then he tries to evade it by shooting a jab to the body. Real good stuff. Nice, bro. Nice stuff, bro. Really good stuff. Personally, I like to come back with a right hand to the head, down the pipe after my jab to the body, and then after I threw that a few times, I like to come back with an overhand, right? Because I'm getting my opponent used to me throwing a right hand down the pipe, but then after I do that a few times, I'm throwing it around the guard as an overhand. But now back to the topic and back to Mike McCallum and James Toney's good highlights here. All right, now you need to understand, Mike McCallum misses James Toney here because he throws it to the right. You see that, how he misses him? Now, why did he do that? James Toney likes to slip to the outside. Mike McCallum just done an adjustment there. That's a great adjustment. He predicted James Toney to slip to the outside. So he feinted to get James Toney to slip. And then he anticipated him to slip to the outside and shot the jab a bit more to the left in case James Toney would slip and shoot the right hand over it. That's a good try. That's a really good try. It's just James Toney didn't do it this time. Now, this happened while I was speaking. You see how James Toney slips to the outside of McCallum's jabs and then shoots a right hand over the jabs? Mike McCallum predicted that earlier. That's why he shot the jab, and he purposely missed James Toney. He predicted it, right? He predicted him to slip to the outside and shoot a right hand over his jab. And yeah, man, that's a good adjustment, bro. That's good stuff by McCallum. So James Toney does the same thing again. He feints the jab to trigger Mike McCallum's jab, and then he shoots a jab to the body simultaneously with Mike McCallum's counter jab. Then he just uses upper body and waist movement. It's not upper body movement, it's waist movement. He's bending at the waist to avoid Mike McCallum's jabs. Toney tries to throw a gazelle hook, and Mike McCallum just trades it. Both are getting hit. Now let's just enjoy this nice sequence of Mike McCallum and James Toney. And I need you to really pay attention to how bent James Toney is at the waist when he's weaving. And now just look at this gazelle jab, bro. It looks like he's throwing a hook almost. That's how hard he throws that jab. And after he throws that gazelle jab, just like Marvin Hagler did, he bends at the waist to avoid any form of counter. Now, before we head over to some nice jab parries by James Toney and Mike McCallum, just appreciate that good waist movement here by James Toney. And here you see James Toney use one of the most effective parries in boxing. He catches the jab with his rear hand and shoots his own jab back. Done beautifully. He even tries to follow it up with an uppercut after he sees Mike McCallum bending at the waist. You see it when James Toney is off balance. He instantly gets back over his rear leg, ready to bend at the waist. Yep, that's in his muscle memory. Off to round 12, you see James Toney and Mike McCallum having an exchange. And here you see it. Look at how James Toney straightens up after bending at the waist. So straightening back up after bending at the waist can be a defense as well. Here, Toney does something that Sugar Ray Leonard liked to do as well. He counters the opponent's jab with his own jab overhand. Now, this fight is coming to an end, bro. And I have to say, this might be the best fight I've seen this year, man. Bro, I'm not even over exaggerating. Like, there is many honorable mentions, honestly, and I don't think of all of them right now. But this, holy smokes, there is some technical stuff happening in this fight. And also, both fighters just have that grit, you know what I mean? Like, both fighters have the mentality, they have the skills, they have the basic fundamentals, they have the IQ, they got the physical ability, they got the mental ability, as I said. And fights like this, like nowadays, do you really see this? I don't think. No, not at all, bro. Not at all. You don't see this nowadays at all. So it was really nice watching this. As I said, bro, next week's video is going to be a video about how to box the opposite stance. So if you're a lefty, yeah, or if you're having trouble fighting lefties, next week's video is going to be for you. Just anticipate it to drop on my channel. As always, man, thank you so much for being on my channel. Thank you so much for spending time here. And yeah, man, just let me know what's good for you in the comment section. As always, man, keep your head up. Bless.